you. I'm really so honoured to be in any way connected with this organisation and with my fellow honorees. I can't claim to have anything to do with Sophia or Melissa's success, but I do think I might have been patient zero when it comes to Broad City and these two. I might have been the first person to ever watch it and then force everyone in New York to watch it. Thank you. I did not have time to write this speech, and actually that's what I want to talk to you about, time, as it relates to girls and women. I have to back up a bit. I wanted to write this speech, I intended to write it, but it was a full teaching semester and then someone in my family circle died and I took my children out of school and flew them to Ireland. And I didn't write or read in that time. With my husband, I was occupied with the domestic, with looking after children and sometimes cooking and sometimes cleaning. Then we flew back. And I still fully intended to write the speech. But then there was a deadline and an essay to be written, and I wrote it frantically for a week in the moments when the kids were in school until about 2:30 today. And then I edited it in that flower garden on 6th Avenue. And I got so lost in it, I didn't hear the clock tower ring 3. And I was late to pick up my oldest daughter, who was then mad at me. But there was still one final window to write this speech, which was the hour in which my daughter was in dance class, which was about 3 hours ago. And I had my sound-cancelling earphones, and I had coffee, and I had my ideas and all my awe and delight at what's being achieved here at Girls Right Now, all the ways women sacrifice their time to mentor other younger women, allowing them a space in the world where they can take their time and write. I was all ready and prepared to type out 3 pages about all of that, and then it turned out dance class finished last week while we were in Ireland. What is the point of this story? It's a little tale about time, of a kind I really couldn't have imagined when I was an underserved teenage girl who wanted to be a writer. I had no living mentors. I really could have done with some, but all of mine were dead and between the pages of books. But the ones I read about seemed to dedicate every living moment to writing, and so I thought that's what you had to do. I thought that was the only way writing could get done. The male writers sat in towers or travelled or ignored their families or holed themselves up in garrets and communed with their pages. The female writers, I couldn't help but notice, usually had no families at all. And having no living examples, I took all of this for gospel. Writing was about perfect isolation. It was about putting the world aside. Now, for anybody, it's difficult to put the world aside, but I venture to say for women, it's harder. We are expected to be social, to help our mothers, look after our siblings, and later, if we have children, to attend to them. Surveys tell us that women do a disproportionate amount of the domestic chores, and then there's your job, and then there's your family. I remember being very frightened of those surveys when I was a girl, wanting to be a writer. And then I grew up. I was very lucky to meet someone who split both the writing and the domestic chores down the middle. And if I have one piece of advice for you, it's to find a somebody like that, if indeed you care to find a somebody at all. But the other thing I learned is that my dead mentors were wrong. Writing does not have to be done in total isolation. It can be fitted around the sides and in between. It can happen in the full throttle of family life or during periods of wild singledom, after cooking, during a bath, before work. And even better news, even when you're not actually doing it, you're still sort of doing it. Living is writing too, and so, believe it or not, is not writing. The typical fullness of a girl's life, of a woman's life, can certainly be a frustration, but it can also be a writer's greatest gift and opportunity. That gentleman in his garret doing nothing but writing often discovers he has little to write about. But the 15-year-old girl with school assignments and chores, and Instagram and Twitter and crushes and frenemies and family and beauty regimes and sick days might feel she doesn't have a moment, but what she's brewing inside her is writing too. And watch out when it comes to the boil. Which is where Girls Right Now comes in. How wonderful to put aside an hour or 2 a week for writing and for thinking about writing. And how marvelous to create an organization that makes writing a regular possibility for hundreds of girls. I know the value of it because whenever I have gotten that hour, back when I was 15 and still today, I felt a happiness and satisfaction to which nothing compares. In life, there's never any time. Experience goes by in a sort of maelstrom, and it's hard sometimes to know what happened and how you feel about it. On the page, there's clarity, there is comprehension, and there is meaning. On the page, somehow, I have written this speech at last, even though I absolutely swear to you I had no time in which to do it. Writing is a miraculous practice, and I'm so honored to be here today with the kind of folks who know that. I want to carve out a little time for it, and for girls who need to write and love to write, as I do. Thank you very much.